G'day folks, Parkera here and welcome to a 5-year update for Clyde FC. So it's 5 years since I left the post. It's 5 years since we gave, 6 years since I left the post, to be frank. It's a 5-year difference from when we last looked at the team 1 year after, if that makes sense. Anyway, so we can see straight away that we have a new manager in Jack Ross, Scottish manager, which is good. So he's now the manager of Clyde. Let's have a look at him. Not too bad, not too bad. All right. Does it show his history? Okay, so that's Clyde, Brighton, Burnley, Wolves, Sunderland. So that's all as assistant manager, caretaker manager. As a player, he did play for Clyde way back in the early days. That's why I recognise the face, because I think when I first joined the club, I do try and have a look at some of the old legends or icons and things like that. So he's been all over the place. Interesting though. Yeah. So he's kind of had a bit of a journeyman career there, Jack Ross. Captain is Darren Ritchie. Liam Milgrew is the vice captain. The key player is Carrick Fleury. Yep, can't see that obviously. And Steve Brown is the hot prospect. They are a 3.5-star national reputation team now, so it's an extra half-star. They've gone up in the 5 years since. Facilities look about the same. Estimated value is 51.6 million, which is good. However, the finances only say okay this time, not a secure or stable what it was at last time. So I could take over the club and have a look in detail in things of finances. I don't want to do that, so we will just have a look from the outside, looking through the window. Okay, so let's have a look. So we've got a new manager. So let's take a look at the managers. And we can see straight away they have had a few managers since we last were with them. So we last looked at them with Kevin Dawson after his first season with the club. He was there 1 year, 198 days, so almost just shy of 1 year, 200 days. So he was over there for a year and a half. So, and we know that he won the Scottish Cup, giving us 5 in the total. We then, Carlos then took over, so he left the role. So let's have a look at Kevin Dawson and just see where he went. So he's gone to Newcastle. So he left Clyde, went to Hibs, and then went to Newcastle from there. So that's pretty good. He was a decent manager. Looks pretty good in stats. So he's at Newcastle now doing the job there. Carlos, my assistant manager, I signed him as took over as caretaker for about 19 days, and then Darren Ferguson took over. So Darren Ferguson, as you can see, he'd been all over the place. We've had a few interactions with him in my game, as because of his Hearts, Hamilton, Aberdeen stints really, and he's gone now back to Ayr after being. Let's see, where did he go? He was sacked after 2 years, just over 2 years. He was sacked. From 29 to 32. And then Carlos came back in for a few days, and then I don't know how you say that. Tayfun Corcut. Looks pretty good. He was came from Hamburg to Clyde. He came from Hamburg to Clyde. He was sacked as well after 1 year. Just almost, not too far off 2 years. He was sacked. Carlos then caretaker role again, and Jack Ross was appointed in 2034, so beginning of this year. Okay, and he's been there 149 days so far, so interesting to see what happens. There's a bit of a merry-go-round there. Excuse me. So Darren and Tokyo, they're there really well, but Darren mostly there. So that's interesting, a little bit of a merry-go-round, and as we can see here, no league or cup wins since Kevin Dawson and myself left. Okay, let's have a quick look now at the transfers. Let's have a look at a bit of a transfer history here before we look at the competitions. So 28, 29, okay, I think that's, yep. So this is the one this is this first preseason without me. I don't think we even looked at this. I don't recall. Apologies if we are. So they brought in 2.4 million worth of players and sold 1.8 million worth of players there. Notable players leaving: Nathan Sheeran and Sean Goss going on a freeze. Ian Duncanson, 32k to Hamilton. Lewis Ferguson on a loan to Dunfermline. Okay, how else? Greg Kilty to Dunfermline for 425k. Billy McFarlane on loan. Ian Chisholm, QPR, 37k. Okay, and the rest would have been those they brought in. Let's have a look here. So they sold 1.4 million and brought in about 900, just shy of £1 million worth of players. Anyone else we may know here sold? Jack McFarlane was actually sold to Hibs for 600k. Nobody there that pops to mind. We can see there, 205k, 1.8. So they're making money by sales, which is, I mean, it's not bad business, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, by this time, we're pretty much getting nowhere to anyone that we well and truly know. Oh, hang on. We do have in the final season just gone Craig Hunter. He went to Hibs for, 7.75 million. Let's just have a look at Craig Hunter, because we only bought him for 525k. And Clyde have ended up selling him off for 7.75 billion. So that's a very good return for the investment there for Craig Hunter, going to Hibs as well. So that's interesting there. So that's the only one that pops out there who we would have been around in our time. Let's have a quick squiz. I mean, I very much doubt anyone is still ready and around from this time. No, they're not. So before we go into the competitions and everything else, let's have a look at the players in the senior squad for us. See if we recognise any names. Dan Ritchie, no. Okay, Dean Campbell is still there. Looks like probably how many games did he play this season, if it tells me. Okay, so not a regular player anymore. 12 appearances. 33 years old. So yeah, he's a former captain. Still looks decent though. So maybe he can continue going down the ranks. He's a bit slow, but as a midfielder, you never know your luck. So he's still there. Is he transfer listed? He is transfer listed for 350k. No interest there. Ryan McCain is still with the club. Let's have a look at him. He's only 26 and a striker as well. Played about 10 appearances, 6 goals. So it's not too bad really in terms of goals for games return. And that is about all. So there's 2 players we still recognise. Anyone in the reserves, maybe just been chucked there as you do when you want to get rid of some players sometimes. Paul Husband. All right, so Husband's still there, 30 years old, not on the list or anything, maybe just rotten away. Only 3 appearances and as a sub, so very limited, more in the reserves full time. And that's about it. Okay, so just those, excuse me, a few players there that we are aware of. We go to overview. Let's have a look at the competitions now. And let's just have a look, actually, if we can have a look at the competitions this way. Honours, I'm not worried, honours. Let's have a look at the Premiership. And we can see, where are we? They finished 4th this year. Yep, they finished 4th, 2028-29. Okay, 62 points. They're then 10th, which is probably why the previous manager, who took over from us, got sacked. Goal difference of -10. So that was pretty squeaky bum time, really, if you think about it. Does that take me to... It does. But okay. Well, we'll look at it this way. Okay, so the 4th, which we already knew about. Then the finish of 10th, which was just mentioned there, we can see 6 points from the relegation playoff spot. Okay, so they're pretty close. For relegation, fairly safe from automatic relegation, though. The following season, Clyde 3rd, so bouncing back into contention well and truly in, or hopefully the European spots there. It depends on the coefficients. And the following season, still slipping down a couple of spaces, but still in Europe. And then season before that, 6 missing out. And Okay, 57. So they would have, yeah, yeah. Okay, missing out on Europe, but obviously making the split that season. And then the following year, the year just completed. So the year that's just been taken over. So they must have had a bad start, and 48 points. So a goal differential, 9-10, is what stopped them from getting into the split. Well, we don't know that, to be honest, because of once the split happens, it's very hard to judge because your points can be, it doesn't really matter what your points are. You've made the split, you're stuck in that second part. But still, apart from that 1 year there, which where they floated in 10th place, they haven't done too badly. They've pretty much been mid to top half of the table, which I think is pretty damn good if I do say so myself. And we can see here with the domination, Celtic, Hibs, Celtic, Rangers there going forward. So let's have a look at the Champions Cup. So that's no, we haven't made the Champions Cup. That was the year I made it with us. European Cup, obviously we made fourth in Group 8. Then they made fourth in Group K. They lost to Bournemouth in the qualifying round on aggregate. 2031-32, fourth again as a bottom. That is in Group B of the European Cup. If we can see that, we can't. What's be? There we go. So had Standard Liège, Levante, Olympic Lyon, and Clyde. So 3 points from that there. All draw. Okay, not too bad. Okay, and if we have a look in the Scottish Cup, we can see obviously my win here, their win again, Hearts and Hearts. Lost to Hibs in the quarters, Dundee in the quarters after extra time. Oh, that'll be a bit guttering. Hearts lost to Hearts again in the semi-final. So faced Hearts quite recently again in the Scottish Cup final stages. Fourth round to Rangers and Reed. And the final. Oh, we lost in the final on penalties to Hibs. Oh, that's a dire. That would have hurt. Because winning that would have got them into Europe. Okay, so Bedford Cup. Obviously, this is where we were here in the final on penalties. Yeah, quarterfinals, semi-quarters, second round, quarters, and second round. We don't worry about all the other cups at all there. No, we don't. All right, folks, I believe that's it. I don't think there's anything else we need to look at. So obviously no more honours since we last looked at you. So we will come back in 2040. That'll be the 10 years, basically. And then we will have, that'll be the final look at how Clyde FC have progressed, basically 10 years after my departure, almost. And we'll see if there's any improvements to what we have seen here. If they still are a premiership side or if they have dropped down somewhat. All right, folks. So we'll be back shortly, for you shortly, for me in a bit of time for the game loading. All right, we'll see ya. Hello, folks. Parkera, we're back. Straight away. So, just gone ahead to 2039. So this will be the last one. Marked all items I've read, and straight away Ross takes Stoke hot seat. So if you do recall from earlier on, Ross was the manager in charge of Clyde. Obviously not now. So let's have a look at Clyde. I'm not going to hang around and read that, and we'll just go stuck into the Clyde and see where they are. Click on the game. Okay, still in the Premiership and fourth. Excellent. So their manager is Phil Foden. Okay, all right, not too bad. Where's he been? Okay, so he's been Wigan, for a season at Wigan, but previously under 18s after coaching stint. Interesting there. Okay, so he's just probably been newly appointed-ish. Okay, so straight away, we're just going to have a look here. So the reputation is still the 3.5 star. The facilities haven't downgraded. The estimated value has gone down from, I think it was about 51 million to 44 million-ish. So it's still there, though. Nothing too really to worry about. And at a quick glimpse, there is nothing added here that I can see. Although looking at that quick chart, you can see the thing in the Premiership has been there or thereabouts quite steady. So let's go to the manager history and have a quick nosy rosy, and the list has now gotten very long. So we left with Jack Ross in charge. He left his management role in after 233 days. So let's have a look at where Jack Ross went to. So he left from us, went to Reading, Newcastle, and then Stoke. Okay, interesting. And then for 8 days, we had a caretaker manager. So it looks like Carlos might have buggered off. And in fact, I can't actually click on Carlos anymore. So I would say he's retired from the game. So Lewis Wilson was a caretaker there. Costa Ronjek was the manager for 1 year, 130 days. He was sacked. Let's have a quick... Okay, we can't even look at him anymore because he is gone. But he joined 2034, yeah, 2030. Then Lewis, so Lewis must be the new assistant manager there at Clyde. No, he's the under-18s manager. Interesting. Okay. Then James MacArthur took it over after 14 days for 1 year, 337 days. So almost 2 years. He left the role after, actually, no, he won a cup. So it looks like he won the Bedford Cup. Okay, excellent, nice. Okay, so that's another little trophy, I guess, in the cabinet. Let's have a look at the James MacArthur. Not too bad there at all, actually. He's now currently the manager of Wolves. So he left us, went to Burnley, and now finds himself at Wolves. Caretaker again, Matthew Tidesea, who is now the assistant manager there at Clyde. And he was there for 14 days as caretaker. Then we got a new manager in Jonathan Rubio. He was here for just over a year. Then he left. Interesting. Okay, so he left, wasn't sacked. He looks like he left to go to Celtic. Okay, bastard. And then, of course, we've got a 7-day little caretaker role, and then Phil Foden has. We've already looked at Phil Foden, where he's come from. So Phil Foden took over about 127 days ago. Season just finishing there. Okay, so that's straight up pretty much it. Yeah, can't really complain. Well, merry-go-round, only one player, only one manager getting the sack. The rest actually leaving and looking to go elsewhere by looks. Transfer history, well, there'll be no one there anymore who are left. So I think go there. So 4 million spent, 9.75 million recouped. 3 million recouped, 500,000 spent. So they're not spending much. If they are, their outgoings are covering that anyway. And 3.1, 3.3. That was a little bit of a tight one there. And just season gone really, or end of the current season. Only spent 300k, but got rid of 7.5 million. So they're getting rid of a lot of players. Still bringing in players on loan, which for a Premiership side, maybe that's right. I mean, I guess if we look at the overview again, they are only a 3.5-star reputation team, so it is what it is there. Let's have a look here at the players, see if we recognise anyone, which we probably won't because we didn't really have anyone left from last time. Just have a quick squiz. If I miss any, apologies. You can let me know down below in the comments. Pretty much everybody, I mean, as expected. You're talking about 10 years since I've left now. So most of the players would have well and truly gone. And they have. So let's have a look at the history here for the competitions. We're not going to worry about honours. We're just going to go to... we'll skip the Ladbrokes Premiership and we'll do that another way. So Champions Cup, obviously, they haven't gone back into the Champions Cup at all, which is unusual because I guess finishing second might not be enough now to even get to the qualifying phases. But that's it there. It's the only one for us. The European Cup or the Euro Trophy. So obviously lost to Young Boys, Montpellier and Roma. So most recently, we were there with the fourth in Group B. So then they lost in the qualifying rounds. So they haven't actually managed to get back into the group stages of Europa Cup. Scottish Cup, well, we can see last time they lost to, where are we? It was Hearts, Hibs, yeah. The final penalties. In the fifth round semi final, they again lost to Hibs in the final, fifth round, fourth round. So two final appearances fairly recently, but losing appearances. Uh, so they're doing quite well in that competition, really, which is always something good to see, I guess. Bedford Cup, well, we know they so lost to Celtic in the quarterfinals, Rangers in the quarterfinals, and then they won it 2036-37 after beating Hearts. So that was pretty good there as well. And we can just kind of see where they were in the lower things, the second round quarterfinals previously. In Iron Brew Cup, it doesn't really matter, and there's no wins there for Iron of a Brew Cup. Anyhow, so let's go to the Premiership. If we can, blah 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 blah. We can see Hibs have got the domination for the last few years, which is quite interesting indeed. Indeedy Matidi. Okay, so this I'm going to leave that there so we don't look at anything. So I think 33, 34. Yep. We came back for that one at the league table with Clyde missing out by that and the goal difference, so we saw that one there. Okay, so then league table again. So Hibs crowned champions, Clyde finishing a respectable fourth, obviously qualifying for Europe. 62 points, 2 points over Rangers. So Rangers had a big drop off that year, and it looks like definitely Celtic and Rangers' domination has been broken, like we saw before by Hibs. Clyde again finishing fifth there in the European spot. So obviously not finishing high enough to qualify. They to the group stages, or vice versa for the Euro spots. That's why they've had to qualify through the stages and haven't really done anything. Then they finished fifth again, 51 points, 4 points over the sixth place, but also quite way back from Celtic. And with a finishing off seventh not too long ago there as well, 52 points there. So missing out initially in the split, and obviously they're picking up those extra points based on the games they played against the other teams in the split. So that's a disappointment there. And the current season just finished. You can see Clyde did finish fourth, qualifying obviously for the Euro Cup again. 58 points. 57. So 1 point over Morton, up there in Motherwell. But again, Rangers and Celtic still pushing up there. But the Hibs are the ones who have just been on fire in the Premiership for the last few seasons. But it looks pretty good for the mighty Clyde. Anyway, as we go back to their profile, we can see that they have, and we did see it there, they really have, and I'm going to say it, thanks to me, become a well-established Premiership club with regular appearances in the Europa League. Just need to learn and kick on. They are spending not much money in terms of transfers, but they are, for some reason, recouping a lot of cost as well. So we'll see how this guy can go, because he would have obviously just been there for 127 days to probably finish off this season and his next season. But we will not be there to see that. We are not going to come back. It's 2039, 10 years now since I've left the club. So, thank you. That was just an update there. Don't consider this part of the original series, but this is a nice little update for anyone who may have been interested in seeing how Clyde left. And it's good to know that after 10 years that they're still a Premiership side. They've only really had that one season early on, a couple of years after I left, where they floated down to 10th and got quite close to the relegation playoff zone. But apart from that, a couple of 7th places, but they've been consistently otherwise in that top 6, even pushing up, 4th or 3rd. So that's good to see. And hopefully Clyde will continue going on. I won't know because, well, I'm about to go. Well, this is going to be saved now in perpetuity, or I think that's the word, and I will be resigning this profile, retiring this profile, and thus Clyde FC up the Bollyway. All right, folks. Thank you very much, and we will see you I'm not sure when this has come out, so we will see you next time. Hope you enjoy this video. You know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe, and all that jazz. Please comment down below. Really do appreciate comments. And anyway, let's get into the rest of the game. And looking forward to FM20 around the corner. Alright, folks, I'm Parkera. Over and out. Kia kaha.